protect this country, right? It's just something that, and by the way, the NRA members who the NRA is communicating these dangerous, destructive messages to, like people like Dana Lash, like truth will burn, like whatever the hell she says, with those like ultra dramatic commercials, like they're leading them the wrong way. They're leading them right into the arms of Smith and Wesson, all the gun companies who are just incredibly controlling over the NRA. Like, that's who the NRA really serves. But it's just all around an absolutely incredible situation that this segment has to exist when so many Americans support fixing a simple problem, yet our representatives, they're not going to plan on doing anything in the future. So, I mean, it's another one of the myriad of reasons. Please register to vote. Like, please register to vote.
It's about, for example, something like this, which I feel it in here.
What she's holding up is a blouse you may wear to school. This is her, like, on the next big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's heavier, but this looks like a very fashionable jacket.
That's the idea.
Yeah, tell us about this.
This is the Black collection.
Okay.
We were with Miguel Caballero's brand. We were 13 presidents in Latin America. We have prime ministers wearing this. So it's very lightweight. You can see it's wearable. It's fashionable, but wearable, but in protection.
You said you have presidents wearing this. What about business people? You also do this in suits, right?
Yes, exactly.
And here is this one, which is also, I feel it in the back. You've got one of those
it's like a little,
things in the front and in
it's like a vest, kind of.
the back.
Exactly. Always you have to be protected, front and back.
Yeah.
And here we have a patent we have.
Here's how you could be protected. Here's how you could be protected, front and back. Pass background checks on gun owners. Do common sense gun reform like 90% of the country wants. It's not that hard. All right, I'm done with that. Anyway, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had become a breakout star in the Democratic Party. And she's, by the way, very good position on guns. Shout out to her. She beat, obviously, Representative Joe Crowley. She's part of the new flank of the Democratic Party that is fighting Republicans and establishment Democrats and occasionally the media in advance of the fall midterms. So, by the way, that was interesting. She got a little bit of criticism, not only from the conservative media, but from like the media, like MSNBC. She tweeted on Monday that stops on her listening tour throughout her district, like the one she held in Corona, are intended for lively, compassionate discourse with a diversity of viewpoints. She's going on a listening tour around her district, which is something like, who do you see that does that? Like, that should be rewarded. So yeah, it's just for discussions that are actually doing something, not for reporters to come and mob people. So she's banned media. She barred media from her town hall, which is something that became, for some reason, very controversial. And it's just such an incredible leap to me. Like, this is the image that the media has of themselves. Like, we're doing the real truth for the reporter. Like, no. This is just a representative in a little district in New York trying to have a conversation with some of her constituents. Like, there's nothing that you guys really need to be there for. It's like, people, with the reporters in the room, people don't like reporters. Like, no one's going to be outraged at this. And the fact that I hear some people on Twitter, reporters out there, saying that, I honestly do forget to say this, so if it's not a reporter, I do apologize to reporters out there. But, like, comparing this to Trump that's what's going on. People are saying that AOC barring reporters from her town hall is like Trump's 2 years of consistent attacks on the media. Like, that's where we're at right now with this hatred of Ocasio-Cortez coming from the media and from conservatives, who, by the way, people like the RNC, they're sending out emails now calling her a mini Maduro, which is insane. And former President Barack Obama didn't endorse her. She's getting shamed from every corner of the party. Ben Shapiro challenged her to debate, which is pretty stupid. I don't think she should have responded, but she did, and that was one of her not the best moves. I don't think it was a really big deal. I think it was a good response, a relatively good response, but he should not be responded to. Like, she's a little bit too online for my taste. She's a little bit too much of a poster. I do like her, though, out there responding to critics because it makes for, again, more cannon fodder, which is probably, it's something I'm kind of conflicted because I do like to see, like, a strong progressive out there fighting who's not, like, 90 years old like Bernie Sanders. But, again, on the other hand, I do think that there is a little bit of, there's definitely a lot of drawbacks to this. Like, it's not something that she needs to do. And maybe she would probably do well to limit herself. That's just my opinion. I'm sure she can handle herself perfectly well, like she has throughout the time. But it is a unfortunate situation. That, well, maybe not. Maybe so fortunate. So Republicans may be convinced by some of her policy positions that are, by the way, overwhelmingly popular. Something that the Republicans cannot say about their own policy positions. Yeah, so Shapiro, too, and was asked by Vox about why he wanted to debate Ocasio-Cortez, this is the $10,000 guy, who is running a deep blue state in a deep blue district in a blue state, and what his response was to her tweet. He said he wanted to have a discussion or debate, whichever she chose, with Ocasio-Cortez because Tom Perez called her the future of the Democratic Party, and because she hasn't done a single interview with anyone who didn't vote Democrat, so far as I'm aware. In response to her tweet, cross-partisan discussions make the country better. End of story. She had every right to say no, of course, but suggesting that this is in any way comparable to catcalling is patently ridiculous and insane. Yeah, because he says this is ridiculous. I'm an Orthodox Jew. I don't catcall. Orthodox Jews never catcall. He is an Orthodox Jew, but it's not like they don't ever catcall. But anyway, the point is, like, no, she doesn't do. She Ocasio-Cortez, like she does, and like all politicians do and should do, they do interviews with media. You are not a media person. You're like a $300,000 YouTube subscriber. 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. A few people listen to your podcast, and the people who do are very loud on social media and have a cult following, and that builds you up to have a cult following, and you shove it in people's faces, acting like you're the next big thing. Like, that doesn't make you entitled to debate someone who is running for office. Like, no, I don't get it. I mean, maybe an interview, but like a debate, like, that makes them like equals, and they're not equals. I'm sorry. Like, unless like Ocasio-Cortez's podium is like higher than Ben's and he's down, like that's the only way I would find it. It doesn't seem right to me that someone who's like that small gets to shove his way into debating someone who's actually doing something and is actually like worth something. Like, it just seems a little much to me. But then there's so many other things that have been continued to attacking like this. But she's trying to be characterized as the Republicans trying to characterize her as stupid, ditzy, a little bit crazy, a little bit wacky. As still many on the left, she's an invigorating rock star. Conservatives looking to paint the new left as terrifying. She's the perfect example. Plus, if Ocasio-Cortez wins in November, she, like Nancy Pelosi, could hold on to her seat in Congress for decades. So conservatives are framing their criticism of Ocasio-Cortez and, to Shapiro's words, the howling at the moon branch of the Democratic Party. I love the howling at the moon branch of the Democratic Party. Like, these are all these are all policies, and this is something that Ocasio-Cortez is going to have to fight against and has done a very good job of fighting against. Like, this is the fact that they need to get past. Like, this is not howling at the moon. This is not crazy pie in the sky radical stuff. I thought we were past this. This is not zany radical left type stuff. This is stuff that overwhelmingly the majority of the population supports. Put it up on your boards. Advertise it. Talk about policies. Oh, wait, you don't want to, because when you talk about policies, all you do is make AOC look good because her policies are popular and they're the policies of the majority of the country. And the fact that you're coming out and you're saying, yeah, like this Tucker Carlson, this Daily Caller woman a few weeks ago was like, yeah, people, it's very easy to see how you could possibly want free education, free healthcare for your kids. Maybe you want a better wage, $15 minimum wage. Maybe you want people to be treated more equally. It's very easy to see how people could want that. It's very bad, very disturbing. Like that's not going to get you anywhere, conservatives. So by all means, keep doing it. Please talk about the policies. Let's focus on the policies here, because whenever policy is discussed, that's when AOC wins and you lose. What you guys have to do instead is to go to character assassinations, go to attacks, go to smears, go to fake edited videos, and yeah, that just seems to be the only way you can possibly win against someone whose policies are overwhelmingly, again, favored by majority of the American people. All right, we now are going to move on to some comic relief. If the names Ed and Brian Krassenstein mean nothing to you, you're one of the lucky ones who have steered clear of #resistance Twitter. You've heard of Black Twitter, you've heard of like gay Twitter, whatever. Like, it's a group of people on Twitter, pretty much. But there was #resistance Twitter, dedicated resistance to Donald Trump, not leftists, but like kind of Democrats who've kind of been dragged into this, where the Florida-based brothers Ed and Brian Krassenstein have leveraged their combined 1 million plus followers into an illustrated children's book deal. While they usually tweet benignly political statements like truth that somehow get still a staggering number of faves, things went sideways when the brothers Grift, like that name, started tweeting photos previewing their latest offering, yet another ploy to make money. It's called a kid's book. Very cynical, but I know it is. It's definitely a play to make money when it comes to them. It's called How the People Trumped Ronald Plump. Wow, it's a little bit of a mouthful. Also, not to mention, it's an awful title. Looks really weird, featuring characters like a swole, shirtless Robert Mueller, who's still wearing a tie for some reason. Because you gotta respect the brand, you gotta respect the FBI. Oh my God, this is my. I'm starting to literally explode here. Let's look at some of this and some of the promotional tweets Brian Krassenstein has sent out. A sneak peek at the last page of my upcoming book, How the People Trumped Ronald Plump. Pre-order for Amazon now. Yes, I'm teaching our children that Trump's actions are not okay. Deal with it. Meet Robert Morrill. Like, that's what he looks like. He looks like a male bodybuilder, stripper type person. Meanwhile, he's like a saggy, like 80-year-old, like lawyer. Oh my God, these people! It's just, again, so backwards. Such a dumb vision then of America. Like, the FBI is great, the intelligence agencies are great. Trump is bad. Robert Mueller, even though he's a senior citizen, is a jacked dude who's our hero and he's amazing. Like, damn. And by the way, these people have been accused of Ponzi schemes. Brian and Ed Krassenstein have been accused of Ponzi schemes. The feds raided their house. And they started a YouTube channel. They have done a bunch of other things to try and make money. Like, the most likelihood is they're like hard writers who like, yeah, I see a scam here, and they're more than right. This is a typical Krassenstein tweet. Breaking. Rudy Giuliani just told Chuck Todd, truth isn't truth. Truth is truth, Rudy. And the truth is you're going to send your client and maybe even yourself to one of the most truthful places on earth. Prison. Truth! ! All caps. Boom. Yeah, I do want to get a little bit more into this book because it's just too good. So a Daily Beast reporter pointed the weirdness of the book out. The Krassensteins proceeded to veer further down into bizarre, tweeting back photos of themselves and other shirtless men, both fictional and real, that they revere. So Lachlan Marquet tweets out something about how weird this is, and then he says, I'm not afraid to let my... Brian Krassenstein says, I'm not afraid to let my son see men without shirts on. Are you? And then Ed comes up with the play. Oh, look, at Lachlan. Here is a photo of myself and at Krassenstein without our shirts on. And God forbid my son is there too. Do you really believe kids shouldn't see shirtless men? That's not the point. that's not the point. Yeah. And then it says, your smear tactics just continue to make a huge mockery. I don't know why the Daily Beast continues to pay you for your